Hey everybody, this is the 4C Queen, and today, instead of coming at you guys with, a video like showing my hair, showing my natural hair, showing how I care for my natural hair, I decided to make this video about the hair type system because I'm seeing a lot of posts of people either loving the system, criticizing the hair type system, a lot of things going on. So I thought it would be good to make a video so that, to give my take on what I feel about this hair type system. So get started. So let's go into a little teeny bit about the history, because during the research that I've done, what I've discovered was the person who created this hair type system was a gentleman by the name of Andre Walker. Andre Walker also happens to be the stylist for the one and only Oprah Winfrey. And in styling Oprah's hair, what he did was he was creating a hair care line. So he came up with this hair classification system in order to market his products and to sell his hair care line. However, since then, he did this over 20 years ago. He did this in the 90s. And since then, it's kind of been adopted as like the hair type classification system that is used by everyone. And one of the misconceptions I just want to point out that I see with a lot of people that post is they seem to think this is a hair type system for ethnic people or people who are African American. This system is a hair type system for all people, all races, all textures, all types, all patterns, from straight to kinky. So it wasn't just meant to classify African American hair, it was meant to classify all hair, but it was also a marketing tool, not a hair classification or how pretty your hair is, how, anything like that. It was a marketing tool. So what he came up with was, and if you look, he has type 1, A, B, and C, from fine to medium to coarse. And you have soft, shiny, hard to hold a curl. Hair tends to be oily and hard to damage. 1B has lots of body. 1C, hard to curl. Most Asian women, it says, falls into this category. So if you look at the pictures, one thing I want to point out about the pictures is just that I want the pictures to look at the hair, not the model. So I want you to look at how the hair looks, not how the woman looks in the picture, because a lot of times people tend to look at how much the person resembles them, and then they think because the person looks like them, that hair type is their hair type. And it's like, no. You can actually not look anything like the person in the picture and have a similar hair type than that person. So like if you see the young lady here with the blonde hair, it doesn't mean that type 1As are women with blonde hair. It doesn't mean that. So I just want you to look at this as a guide to an idea of where a person's hair type may be. So what I got from this type 1 is these are usually Caucasian women, women with naturally straight hair. That's just, Asian women have naturally straight hair. Some, Asian Indian, I should say Asian/Indian, even though Asian Indian is the same thing, but these are the women with this type 1 hair. So the hair type system includes all women, all types, not just the African American thing. So let's get into some type 2 hair. So if you look at these women, now these women look like they could be of Arab descent or anything like that. However, this doesn't mean that If you're of Arab descent, this is your hair type, or if you're not of Arab descent, it's not your hair type. That's not what that means. I just want you to look at the hair. So this is more of the wavy hair women, right? So as you can see, 2A, 2B, 2C. And they all are defined as fine, medium, and coarse. Personally, I don't like the word coarse, but this is not my words. This is the words of the man who created the system, right? So they say the S curl pattern. The S curl is the wavy curl pattern. One of the things is like this hair is resistant to styling. It tends to be frizzy. 2C, hair is thicker waves, resistant to styling, and the hair tends to be frizzy. So all of my type 2 women, I'm sure you all know the struggle with, you know, the type 2 hair system and how it can be difficult to style your hair at times because of this. So again, I think people need to remember that this is meant to be more of a guide to help you with how to style your hair and to recognize some of the adversities that you may come into with styling your hair. It's not meant to describe how pretty your hair is, how easy your hair is to manage, how better you look. It's not meant to do all that. It's just supposed to define how your hair is so that you know what product to use in order to get the best styling experience for your hair. So now we're at type 3. Now with type 3 hair, you can see the women are, you got some African American women here. They may be mixed African American women, but they are African American women nonetheless. I purposely put a picture of a woman in here who is not African American because the point is you don't look at the person on the picture and say, oh, I look like the person on the picture, so me and that person have the same hair type. It doesn't really work like that. It's more so your hair type, right? So type 3 women can be women that are not African American, that are not brown or black women. There are women who are curly girls and they're not black or brown women. You know, I personally have a best friend who is definitely a curly girl, and she's not a black or brown woman. So you see 3A, 3B, 3C. You got loose curls, tight curls. Tight curls or corkscrews. I love that, corkscrews. I love those quirky type words. So you got an S curl pattern, medium amount of curls, combinations of textures, so you can be curly and wavy and straight, and tight curls and corkscrews, and it can be kinky, tight curls, a lot of density. So you have to really think about just the hair, not what the person on the picture looks like, right? So personally, like if you look at the young lady in the first picture, she more so resembles me, for example, but her hair type and my hair type, no, not at all the same. You see what I'm saying? So let's look at type 4. Personally, this is my favorite hair type because this is also the hair type that I have, that I take a lot of pride in. I will say that I have just begun to learn my curl pattern. I was a girl who grew up in the relaxer era. So when I grew up, you know, my mom, of course, did my hair until I was a teenager, maybe like 12 or 13. And my hair started to be relaxed when I was about 10 years old. So when I started to get into styling my own hair, my hair was relaxed. And I relaxed my hair for many years. And it wasn't until maybe 10 years ago that I started to actually deal with my natural hair. And back then I didn't even know about, actually it was longer, we're going to say 2003. So, giving up my age there a little bit. But, you know, had no idea about shrinkage, no idea about how to moisturize, no idea about how to care for it, no idea about anything. I just knew that that was a time period where I had to start over, the big chop, before the big chop was a thing. I had to do the big chop, and it was very hard. And I was like into my 30s, honestly, before I even knew what my hair type was. And this is what it is. I'm definitely a kinky girl. I love being a kinky girl. I love my coils. I love my texture. I love the density of my hair. I love the strength of my hair. I am not a soft kinky girl, and I'm not a wiry kinky girl. I am a kinky zingy girl. I'm a 4C girl. One thing that I see a lot of, there tends to be like this idea that women with all the melanin are for all the 4C girls, and I'm like, no, they're not. The color of your skin has nothing to do with the texture of your hair. So I know some beautiful brown girls that are like between type 3 and type 2, honestly, and they're not mixed with anything or anything. That's just the texture of their hair. So this is why I emphasize, please look at the texture of the model's hair, not the way the model looks. Don't think that, because this person looks similar to me, this is my hair type. No. So the reason I say my hair is 4C, I am the 4C queen. I am the queen of everything, but the 4C queen is because my hair is very kinky, it's very coiled, it's very soft, it's very dense. It can be very dry if I don't keep up with my hair regimen of moisturization, protective styling, making sure I wash it the way it's supposed to. So now one of the things here I noticed with the 4A is it's kinky, it's soft, tightly coiled, very fragile, and has a more defined curl pattern. Now the very fragile, I'm a little, on the fence about, but I think what they mean is if you actually took a strand of type 4 hair versus a strand of type 3 hair, type 4 hair is so fine, it almost looks like if you were to take a strand of cotton, that's how fine it is. Whereas type 3 hair is almost like a thin strand of wire, right? So I know my type 3 girls, their hair is like, just the hair follicle itself is so, it's so strong. You know what I mean? So I think that's what fragile means here. If you notice with the 4B, it also says very fragile. In 4C, they say it looks identical to 4B, except they're tightly kinked and there's seemingly no definition. Now, again, these are the words of the man who came up with this hair type system to sell his products, right? So I know for my hair is very coiled. If I don't keep up with my moisturization regimen, it can get very dry. It can feel rough if I don't, keep the follicles nice and moist. And it is my actual hair strands are very thin and curly. And my hair is very dense. I have a lot of hair in my head, a lot. Even when I'm styling my own hair, I'm like, why do I have all this hair? Like, it's a lot. So, but again, it has nothing to do with the complexion of the model or, hair being bad or hair being rough or coarse or, no. It's just about what the follicle that grows out of your scalp looks like. So, I see a lot of posts where the bloggers are taking this type system very seriously, and they're offended by a lot of things. And there are people out there that's like, if you have 4C hair, like your hair is nappy, it's this, is that, it's hard to manage. Stylists want to charge you more if you have 4C hair because it's more difficult to style and all these things. And I'm just like, that's, if as a hairstylist, you should be able to style all types of hair. If that is what your talent is and what your business is and what you do, someone's hair type should not be a sticking point. You should have knowledge on how to style all types of hair, be it type 1 hair, type 4 hair. So let's look into some pros and cons. These are things that I came up with. And as you can see, I just want you guys to pay attention to this picture because I purposely chose pictures of women who look different in all the types. Like if you see my 4C girl here, she's not just a girl with a darker complexion, because that is a misconception. My beautiful heavily melanated women are not automatically 4C girls. Your 4C is about your hair. It's not about your complexion. So, I just wanted to make that known, and I made sure to put some brown girls in the type 3 because I think the mindset is like, okay, type A is like white people, and type 1 is like white people, and then type 2 is like, Asian women, and then type 3 is like Puerto Rican people, and type 4 is all black women, and 4C is like, no, it's not. That's just not what it is. So I think one of the pros with the system is that it's a good way to describe hair texture. So for example, if you're trying to describe your texture to someone, you can't just say, oh, well, I have very fine and it's fragile and it gets coily. And if you say I have 4C hair, that will give the person a good idea of the texture, the density that they're working with. It's very easy to kind of get an idea of what you're up against, as opposed to being like, well, I have curly / wavy / it's like, no, I have 3B hair, 3B, or I have type 3 hair. At least it's easier to give a description of what you're talking about. One of the cons of the system is I just don't feel that all hair types can be described in 4 categories. You have 4 categories, 3 subsets in each category. You have about 3 trillion women around the world. They can't all be lumped into 12 categories. It's just not. It is not idealistic. However, it is a good way to kind of give an idea of what your hair type might be when it comes to caring for your hair, right? So that's one of the pros. It's just a great way to get an understanding of hair texture, to be able to know how to care for your hair, because that's really, if you think about it, if you go back to where this system came from, it was a man selling a product, and he wanted to market a product. So he wanted to create a way to get women to understand their hair texture so that they would be able to care for their hair. That was the whole point of this hair type system. It wasn't meant to be a scale of beauty or a scale of pretty hair versus not pretty. It wasn't meant to be all that. It was meant to be a tool used to help women understand how to care for their hair. So that's the other con, is that the system was not meant to be a tool to define hair. It was a marketing tool used to sell a product. But we somehow took a marketing tool that this person came up with to sell a product and made it a standard of beauty somehow. No, that's not what it is. So in order to find your hair type, it's a good thing, if you can consult with your hairstylist. And don't look at pictures of models, look at the hair. So if you look at this picture here, you see 1, 2A, B, and C, 3A, B, and C, and 4A, B, and C. And the reason I kind of favor this picture over the picture of models is because this one just gives you an idea of what your hair follicle looks like, not what the model looks like. So you look at a model like, oh, this model looks like me, and this model has 4C hair, so I have 4C hair. Like, no, your hair type could be nothing like that model's hair type. So, you know, if you wash your hair, you get it to its natural state, right? So that's assuming that there are no chemicals in your hair, right? So you wash your hair, you get it to its natural state. I know for a fact when I wash my hair and, you know, I leave it in its natural state, that 4C coil is what I get. I don't get an S curl. I don't get a loose curl. I don't get a wave. I don't get a kind of a curl. I get a coil. So in conclusion, I just want to remind everybody that all hair is good hair. All hair is pretty hair, and you find what works best for your hair. So you can watch all the blogs, you can watch all the videos, you can, you know, do all this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's what works best for your hair, because your hair is not the person's hair in the video. It's not the person's hair on the blog. It's not the person's hair on Instagram or on Facebook. Your hair is your hair. So you find what works with your hair. I know for my hair, one of the best things I ever discovered for my hair is the pre-poo or the pre-shampoo. I use a great moisturizing conditioner. I'll pre-poo my hair. I'll detangle it during the pre-poo process. Say that 3 times fast. I will let that shampoo sit for about 20 minutes. I wash my hair with a moisturizing shampoo, and I only have to do 1 wash unless I have some crazy buildup, which I really don't get a lot of buildup, because even if my hair is in braids, I'll try to style it, take it down, style it within the month. The month is the longest that I'll leave it, and then condition it, and I have to detangle again. This really helps for my process after I'm finished washing my hair. You know, back in the day, no matter what was going on with my hair, no matter how dry it was, I would just kind of stick my head under some water, shampoo it, which made it coil even tighter. I would condition it, rinse conditioner out, and then I would rip through my hair with a comb and wonder why I had no growth happening. So be patient. I would say be patient, be careful, and learn what works for your hair. And the key to good growth is hair retention. You know, there's a lot of stuff out there about hair growth, and this will make your hair grow and that'll make your hair grow, when the fact of the matter is that your hair is going to grow anyway. Your hair grows. It's a natural thing that your body does to make your hair grow. Unless you have some sort of a condition like alopecia or something like that, your hair is just going to grow. It's how you care for your hair and help it to maintain the length that it's going to naturally get in order for you to see the growth in your hair. But don't think that because of this hair type system, if you have this type of hair, your hair is not good hair, or your hair is bad hair, or it's not pretty hair. All hair is good hair. All hair is pretty hair. Healthy hair is better than hair that's not healthy. And you need to find what happens, what you need to do to your hair to make your hair healthy. Healthy hair is beautiful hair. A few words of advice before I end this is that I think if your hair is, you know, like you took some wrong turns in caring for your hair, I think you need to just get rid of the bad, the dead hair. So say for example, you put color in your hair and it dried your hair up, and now the hair that's colored, it's really dry, it's really brittle. I would say cut that hair off and then allow the new hair to grow in, and make better choices moving forward when it comes to the care of your hair. And I mean, if you think of your hair as a flower, right? If you had like dead petals on your rose bush, you wouldn't just try to bring the dead flowers back. You would cut those off. You would water the flowers, you would give them sun, and then you would watch it flourish. And that's what you do with your hair. So I hope you guys got something out of this. I really appreciate you guys watching the video and learning about what I feel about this hair type system. I think it's a good guide. I don't think it should be the overall, idea of what beautiful hair is and what beautiful hair is not. I don't. And I think it's just very important to remember that this was a marketing tool to sell a product, not a standard of beauty. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the 4C Queen YouTube, 4C Queen __ on Instagram, and Natural Hair Queen on Facebook. Thank you.